Hey, my name's Joel. Thanks for joining me for this video where we're going to be going over this JOREST 152 pieces in one toolkit set. You heard that right. This has 152 pieces inside. It's a precision screwdriver set. And if you're like me, you like to tinker, take electronics apart, do work with precision parts, tools, electronics, things like that, you're going to need a good set like this. And this has everything you're going to need inside this beautiful case. So before I jump into what's inside there, I'll just say that this case is really quite substantial. Everything inside of it is very delicate, very small, and it's got a heavy feel to it. I think the bottom is even weighted, so it's not easy to like throw around, flip around. So it's got a nice heavy weight, a clamshell design that opens and sets flat on your table like this, and it's got a nice strong latch on the front. This orange latch just clips together, gives you confidence that nothing is going anywhere inside. It's nice and put together. You don't hear things rattling around when you're throwing it in a toolbox or in a bag or something like that. So the case itself is very nice. Simple hinge on the back, doesn't feel like it's gonna break. So I think that's first thing we ought to look at is how does the case hold up. And so once you open the inside of the case, you're going to see two different compartments. The first compartment on the bottom is all about the screwdriver and precision bits. This is most of your pieces right down here, and you've got so many pieces down here. In fact, I think it says on the back of this, 140 pieces of the 152 piece set are bits down here. And what I love about these is when you're reading instructions for something or looking at a manual online, it'll often say that you're going to need something like a little T4 Allen head. And this is a T4 Allen head, and it's labeled right inside this case. It's super tiny, almost microscopic. It'll say things like a PH 00 head, and that's this little guy here. It's the tiniest little flat head you've ever seen in your life, and each one of these bits fits on the end of this screwdriver here. What I like is that the back stock moves, so that when you place your hand on it, you can still turn this back portion of the screwdriver and rest the backstop up against the back of your hand and still turn to tighten or loosen. That's when you need to keep the pressure down on those tiny little screws. This allows you to do that. And the head has an adjustable length. So this portion right here, all you do is pull it down, and it has these little indentations on, we'll call it the screwdriver base. And I'll take it all the way out to show you. That's how long it is. You can stick it in there, and every one of those little indentations, it clicks in to the screwdriver. You hear that click in there, and it holds it nice and tight. So you can go all the way to, I would say 8 inches long, not exactly sure how long that is, to all the way in, which is just barely longer than the handle itself. So all along the way, you can snap it into each little indentation, do whatever precision length you need based on what you're tightening or loosening or what kind of situation you're in. And above and beyond that, you have this extension that allows you to go around corners. It's ridiculous. Everything magnetizes to the tip of this screwdriver, by the way. So if I take one of these bits and heads, put it in, magnetized, not coming out. But if I were to put this extension in there, magnetize my tip to the end of the extension, I can turn this at a 90-degree angle, and watch that. As I turn the screwdriver to tighten, this head still turns. Down, up, doesn't matter what you're doing. This shaft in the middle turns, you hold the end, and you'll see the bit still moves. So you can kind of go around corners. This is really useful if you're taking computer bits apart. You're kind of going around a corner. You can't get a screwdriver in there. That's what this is for. So I love this extension piece. It comes right here on the lid, on top of the tweezers. That's really nice, and I think that you're going to appreciate that as well. There's also just a bit that's a magnet. I thought I would point this out because it's great. There's a bit that has no actual purpose other than just being a magnet, so that if you drop something down a tiny little hole, you can't get your finger down in there, use this extension tip that's a magnet. We'll use another bit as an example. Stick it down there, boop, picked it up, bring it back to the top, you're good to go. That's really ingenious. I love having a magnet tip setting there waiting on me to use. So that's kind of the overview. I won't go over every single bit on the bottom. But that's the screwdriver and the bit section there on the bottom. And we've already gone over the turn extension here. Let's talk about just a few of the other things they include up top, because I think it's really neat. They give you a couple different pry bars, and these are really handy. These have got like little claws on the end of them. They're handy to get under things that you might use your fingernail for, which is, to me, that's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Could bend your fingernail backwards. A couple different sizes of these. You've got 2 of these tools that you can reach underneath little pieces on things and pry them up. That's really ingenious. And then underneath this accessories portion up here, you have what look like guitar picks. These are actually pry kind of picks as well. You can stick these under little corners, pull things out, and you have just different thicknesses of those inside this package. You also have got this little suction cup. Now, I've never used the suction cup, but I could see on some smaller parts it might come in handy. Stick it to something. Oh, that's really strong. Stick it to something, pull it out, just sits right here in the case. It's keeping you prepared for a lot of different scenarios that you might not even know you're gonna need these tools for, but you have them. And then we have some larger bits here up top, along with, now I have mixed feelings about this, along with a 1/4-inch adapter. This would go into any standard screwdriver, electric screwdriver, and you could put any of these tiny little bits in there, hook this into a standard electric screwdriver and use it that way. I've got to say that worries me a little bit, because if you attach this to too much power, you can strip out tiny little screws, but that's for you to decide, not me. And this lid also has a couple different places that you can put screws, just little places like that that are magnetized. It says screws, so when you take screws out of something, you have a place to put them. You'll see this bit is magnetized to that little part of the case. That's a great touch. I love it. And then finally, right underneath where the flexible bit was in our case, we have this set of precision tweezers, and it's got a rubber tip on here because these are really sharp. These are precision tweezers. You can go down and get tiny little things, really tiny little parts, you know, off of a circuit board or something, pull them out. That's really great, and you can keep them sharp by protecting them inside that rubber tip there. So they go underneath the turn bit here, and everything fits right back into the case just the way it came out. And again, you're totally secure. Love the way this comes together. Close it, clasp it, and you're on to the next project. I love keeping stuff like this inside the drawers of my kitchen or anywhere that I have little projects, glasses that might need a screw tightened, or a little electrical piece, a little battery door that needs to be opened. This ensures that I always have the right tool for the job and I'm never without it. So again, this is the JOREST, not Forest, JOREST 152 piece set, all in one kit. That's 140 different precision bits, the driver, the extendable, the around the corner, the tweezers. You saw it all in this. So I really think this is worth what you're gonna pay for it. Check it out for yourself. I really think you're gonna like it.